EWTN News Link. I'm Anna Mitchell from the Sunrise Morning Show. Officials and staff who are not cardinals but will be involved in the conclave have taken their oaths of secrecy. Vatican News reports the Camerlengo, Cardinal Kevin Farrell, administered the oath. This includes the Secretary of the College of Cardinals, Masters of Ceremony, Papal Sacristans, Confessors, medical personnel, as well as dining and cleaning staff, florists, and the Swiss Guard assigned to surveillance. And the Trump administration says immigrants in the country illegally can get $1,000 if they self-deport using a government app. The Department of Homeland Security announced the funds are a way for those in the country illegally to facilitate travel back to their home country, and payments will be made after their return has been confirmed. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Welcome. It's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you on EWTN Radio. I am Jerry Usher along with Debbie Georgiani. Great to be back with you this week. I am live from Pope St. John the 23rd National Seminary in Weston, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. Debbie is at her home in Arizona. And Debbie, we're just wondering where the Take Two family is to make this another great, impactful conversation.
Oh, absolutely, Jerry. And we had a fabulous time yesterday with Dr. David Anders. He was on talking about addiction. It was just wonderful because he is so knowledgeable and understanding and his experience, his wisdom. I mean, all of it. It's just wrapped up in that incredible person that he is and the host of Call to Communion. But after the show, we got a lot of inquiries on how to get in touch with him. So again, it's at standtalltoday.com. Get your free consultation with Dr. David Anders. And he's focusing on addiction. But that's not what we're talking about today, Jerry. Here's what we're talking about today. We're talking about, we're asking the question about high school. We're saying, were you popular in high school? Okay, we want you to think about that for a moment, and then we want you to call in. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. The number is 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. And you'll see how this weaves into our spirituality and the way we conduct ourselves going forward as we mature. So were you popular in high school? That's the question we're asking today. Would you please weigh in on it?
And phone lines are wide open right now. It is always the best time to call at the start of the broadcast, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. What defines popularity in high school? Well, usually it's, were you in sports? Were you in clubs? Were you in student government? Did you date all of the most beautiful girls, the most handsome boys? We're talking about your popularity in high school, or maybe you weren't. Maybe you were not that popular in high school. But every one of us has a history. 99.9% of us have a history that we call our high school years back at some point in our lives. So we want you to weigh in today, and let's talk about this because, interesting, a lot of things happened, Debbie, between our high school days and today.
Very true.
So we want to kind of see, how things have moved forward for you. Were you popular in high school? If so, why? Mm-hmm. Here's the number, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
Maybe you met your sweetheart in high school and got married, right? High school sweethearts, right? Because that you were popular like that. And you're talking about dating. Our dear friends Gigi and John, who we love so very much, they met in high school, Jerry. And when they were very young. And they've been married for a long, long time now. So it's really kind of cool, so that maybe that's what made you popular, because you met that special person in high school. Maybe you thought you were popular. And when you went back for your 10-year reunion, you realized you weren't that popular. Or maybe you became more popular and attractive to others in your age group as you got older and you matured into that popularity. Maybe you could care less about being popular. let's talk about it from all angles, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, here's how you can weigh in. We've got the show team in place, Matt, Michael, and Rich. So you can go on social media, put your comments in there. We're waving to you. Jerry and I are waving. And we'll share, yes, I got the message. You guys want us to answer the question too. We will answer it, but we want to get to you first. You could call in 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986, or you can text us. You text the letters EWTN to 58177. You wait for our response, then you text us your first name and your answer to the question if you were popular in high school. Just know that message and data rates may apply.
All right. Well, think back on that just a little bit. It shouldn't take you too long. Maybe in your yearbook, like in my yearbook, they had, most likely to succeed, most likely this, most likely that. Did people like you in high school? Were you involved in sports? Maybe you were one of the sports stars. Maybe you were not into sports at all. Maybe you were popular in high school because of other things. Maybe you were very generous to your friends. Maybe you took the best notes and shared them with your classmates. Whatever it was that made you popular in high school, tell us why about why that was. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
It's interesting, too, Jerry, as people get older, they tend to go back to their high school years, and that's why they enjoy the reunions and things like that. I know we've got a group where when I went to high school in New Jersey, we've got a group now forming that, and I'm gonna be 60 this year, and they're all coming back around on social media and forming a group after all these years. So it's kind of interesting to hear about their kids and their grandkids and their marriages and their divorces, and all sorts of things have happened in all those years, Jerry. And isn't it true when you go back and revisit it, it has a very different look and feel. What do you say to that?
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. I remember I don't think we had a reunion until our 10th, and it was a lot of things definitely changed after that. We just had my high school, just so people know, it was such a small high school, less than 150 kids in the top 4 grades. So we don't have, single class reunions. We have all class reunions, and we just had one this past September, I believe it was. I wasn't able to go because I was here in the seminary. Would have loved to have been there. But yeah, a lot of time passes, and things definitely do change quite a bit.
What year did you graduate high school?
1979.
Oh, you're 79.
Yeah.
Okay, I was class of 84, but I actually graduated half a year early, so I was 83, 84. I would have walked with my class of 1984, but I never ended up going to the graduation. They mailed me the diploma from New Jersey all the way to Arizona. That's something I do regret. I wish I had gone back and walked with my class.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a special night. I remember that very, very, very vividly, actually. I mean, there are certain things in life that we don't, we don't lose the real vivid memories of things, and high school graduation should be one of those. So Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. It is your show. You are the ones who drive it. You are the ones who make the impact. You change people's lives with what you share on this broadcast. Were you popular in high school or not? Either direction you want to go with that. Let's talk about it and maybe why, and we'll all learn and grow and see how things have unfolded in your life since then. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. Stay with us on EWTN Radio.
Join EWTN as the cardinal electors proceed in a solemn procession to the Sistine Chapel, where the conclave begins to elect the new pope. Wednesday morning, 10 Eastern, on EWTN Television and EWTN Radio.
I'll never forget a conversation I had with a guy at a pub. He learned that I did ministry, so he pushed the conversation from faith to politics to abortion. It took a sad turn when he said, "I think my mom should have aborted me." Hearing that changed how I think about the abortion debate forever. How can you convince someone who doesn't think his own life has value that he should care about the life of a fetus? You can't. Abortion won't become illegal until it becomes unthinkable, and it won't become unthinkable until we remember the value of human life again. That's why being pro-life isn't some isolated political cause, and it isn't about being against a woman's rights. It's about being for a society based on the idea that every life deserves to be welcomed because every life is beautiful. That's why for this and every issue, the gospel of Jesus Christ is the only answer in the end. That's why we learn that every life is of infinite worth because God found every person worth dying for. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
If you're looking for 2 solid hours of Catholic news and Catholic newsmakers, catch Catholic Connection with Teresa Tomeo every weekday morning, 9 Eastern on EWTN Radio Extra.
We're asking the question today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Were you popular in high school? Or maybe you just don't want to even think about high school. You couldn't wait to graduate. Let's talk about that as well. Well, we need to hear from you. So fill up the phone lines because this is your show. This is where we come together as the body of Christ and we learn and grow together. And it's very important. And you will see by the end of this broadcast why we asked this question. But you got to call in 833-288-EWTN. Were you popular in high school? 833-288-3986. Or you can talk about the popular kids at high school if you want to. This is a safe place to do that. But Jerry, before we get to the phones, I know our Take Two family wants us to answer the question if we were popular or not, or if we thought we were popular. You know, a lot of times you think you're popular, and then you go back for the reunion, you're like, oh boy, I wasn't that popular.
Yeah, nobody remembers me.
Exactly, because nobody knows who I am. Okay, so I want to just share this with our listeners. And, you know, Jerry, help me out with this because I need the pronunciation of his last name. I should have gotten it right before we started the show. Would you say it's Stephen Oth?
That looks good enough for me, yeah.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure. Visions of the Divine, an artistic journey into the mysteries of the Eucharist by Stephen Oth. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. In Visions of the Divine, Catholic evangelist, author, and businessman. Oh, he's a businessman too. That's awesome. Steve Oth reunites the art of the Eucharist with the Eucharistic liturgy itself, along with his co-authors, Evelyn Oth and Father Roger Landry. Steve leads the reader on a worldwide pilgrimage to some of the most spectacular and moving artistic masterpieces that help us penetrate more deeply into the Eucharistic mystery. The author's journey to museums and churches across the United States and Europe. They'll guide you through the liturgy of the Mass in ways you have never experienced. The array of breathtaking art and visions of the divine will enlighten your path to communion with God as you witness our Father's love for you and be encouraged to let yourself be loved by him within the Eucharistic mystery. This is all available now at EWTNRC.com. Free standard shipping, online orders of $75 or more. Standard shipping applies to the continental U.S. only, so use code FREE at checkout. You know, I have to say, I've never, I don't know who Stephen Oth is, but I'm going to look him up because that sounds spectacular. Do you know who this gentleman is?
Well, it sure sounds like a great book. I agree with you on that. And EWTN Publishing only puts out the finest works, so I would definitely encourage people to get a hold of this because we all, you know, we're still basking in the glow of the Eucharistic Congress in the 3 years, and I think the U.S. bishops they've determined 2033. I think there's going to be another Eucharistic Congress, or maybe even before then. So, yeah, we would all do well to get a book like this. Absolutely.
Yeah, so so this is really cool. Our producer, Michael, just weighed in, and it is Stephen Oth, just like if you would say author. So I love that, Stephen Oth. And he was on Doug Keck's bookmark last week. So I'm going to look that up in the archives because I want to get to know him because I think, you know me, Jerry, with being very visual, and I have to see things, you know, and and this sounds spectacular. Visions of the Divine. I just love the name of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm available at EWTNRC.com. Check that out as soon as you get a chance, right after the show. How does that sound?
That sounds good. We learn and grow together, you guys. You know, Jerry and I, believe it or not, we don't know everything, and we learn and grow together. And this is the beauty of this show. So we do need you to weigh in on this topic. We're asking the question, were you popular in high school? Super simple to answer. And if you just call in, you'll get right in to speak to Matt Gabinski. He's waiting to answer your call at 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, Jerry, we can't leave our Take Two family in suspense any longer. I'm going to ask you the question first.
Okay.
Be brutally honest, Jerry. Were you popular in high school?
Actually, I was. I was very popular in high school. No, it's true. I'm not. This
true.
isn't, bragging or patting
Right.
myself on the back or anything. But I had an advantage in that, like I said, our high school was fewer than 150. See, 150 students was the cutoff for the Class B versus Class A. In sports and stuff, we were Class B. And there was one class below us. In football, we were Class B 11-man. There was a Class B 8-man football as well. So we had fewer than 150 students. So if you take that, probably more girls than boys. I would say so. I was probably one out of 60 or 70 boys in the high school. If every guy didn't turn out for the football team, we wouldn't have a football team. Because there just weren't that many of us. I was class president as a sophomore. I was student body president as a senior. I played football, basketball, baseball, track. I was in all the clubs.
Wow.
So I loved my high school years. And when you ascend to the grade of senior, of course, as you know, most people know, then you sort of take on a certain mystique, and we got to stand outside the principal's office between classes. The seniors did, and occasionally a junior would crack that elite group, and then when you're real popular, you get the back seat on the bus, to activities and sports and home from school and stuff. So I'm getting long-winded about this, but it's bringing me, it's bringing me back to a lot of really great memories, I think. So
Wow.
I'd say the answer to your question, the short answer is yes, I was pretty popular in high school.
Wow.
How
and you're
about
still,
you?
And you're
Oh.
still popular.
Yeah, I'm almost feel like I'm still in high school too.
It's true. Okay, so you just asked me the question, was I popular in high school? Okay, couple things. I went to the same high school as all my five other brothers and sisters that were older than me. So everybody kind of knew our family. It was the school was 1 mile from my home, so you could walk to it. My, Kristen, Kristen, my very, very best friend, sister friend, she was a year ahead of me. So she kind of paved the way for me, which was fantastic. Was I popular? I would say that I breezed through high school and I was liked. I can say that. I floated around from group to group. So I made a lot of friends, but not really super deep friendships because I had my friendships from Catholic school. So it was an interesting dynamic. But I will tell you that in my senior year, I got super bored. Got bored, being on the golf team. Got bored with classes. Got bored because I was a pretty good student, and so I graduated early. So I bailed on everybody half a year, and they've never let me forget it. They've constantly remind me that and then I had to pick up and leave and went all the way across the country from New Jersey to Arizona. So, but I really loved high school. And when I went back to visit, I remember walking the campus grounds, and it was really quite beautiful to think of all the times that we used to race our cars. We had this circle, and we would race our cars around this circle. I mean, the silliest things we used to do. I mean, now it would be considered very dangerous.
Right.
I know, but those are the good old days. Okay, we did get a comment real quickly before we go to the phones. The phone lines are lighting up, so you're going to answer the question, were you popular in high school? And we did get a question about this book that we have just highlighted, Visions of the Divine, Stephen Auth. I guess a lot of folks are going to go to EWTNRC.com and check it out. Please do that. That's exactly why we highlight these wonderful works. Okay, Jerry.
All right. Well, Debbie and I have shared kind of a trip down memory lane from our high school days. What about you? Were you popular in high school? Maybe you just maybe you just want to call and share something fun about high school, something you loved, something you didn't like, something quirky. Maybe you weren't very popular. So just let's go down this memory path together here today at 833.
Nothing illegal.
Nothing illegal. Oh, well, I'll have to leave some details out then. 833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986. Okay, as Debbie promised, we're going to go to the phones. Kathy is in North Ridgeville, Ohio, listening on The Rock today. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. So happy that you called today. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I was, I never considered myself popular in high school. I went to a all-girls Catholic high school, and my freshman year, I didn't really know anybody. And I actually remember walking behind two girls who were deep in conversation and giggling and laughing to the bus, wishing someday I would have some friends. But then I got involved in some activities. I got involved in the plays, and I met a great group of people. And I had a lot of friends. I met my husband in high school. He came to help work on the sets from his high school. And I met him. I was 15 and a half when I met him. And so I'm going to be 72. So you can do the math, how long that's been. But anyway, I never really considered myself popular, but I do have still a dear, dear friend from high school and a group of friends that we call the lunch table group, and we still try and meet once a month.
Oh,
but it's funny,
wow.
I just don't consider myself popular.
Well, because you're humble. Not like Jerry, who sat there and gave us the whole...
My whole high school resume, yeah.
Right. No, I'm just teasing.
Oh, my
I'm just
goodness.
teasing. I'm teasing. But Kathy, that's beautiful, though, that you have a lot of friends and you still get together. I love that. Do you get together with your friends, Jerry? Because I don't get together with any of my high school friends like that.
I don't really have much of a chance to do that at all, But Kathy, I think, what you're pointing out is a key, I think, thing for us to consider, and that is, what is popularity? Popularity is fleeting. We may have it in high school, but, are we going to have it, are those memories, those connections, those relationships that we make in high school going to be lasting? And God bless you. You found your spouse in high school. That is absolutely fantastic. And the other friend that you mentioned. So, when we're all kind of fickle and fleeting when we're in high school. So, all of those people who thought Debbie maybe thought I was popular probably don't think so anymore. So,
Jerry's pretty popular. You are popular, Jerry. Every time I've gone to events with you, people like to be around you and talk to you. You're easy to talk to.
Well.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Kathy, I would think he's popular, and you're popular too, Kathy. And I love that you're still getting together with some of those friends.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, that's very kind of you to say. I think that, watching my children, our children go through high school and the angst of friendships and wanting to be a part of a group that they think is the cool group. And, now even my grandkids are going through that, I always try to tell them, find your friends that make you feel like you are doing the right things and you are who you should be. And don't worry about whether or not you're fitting in with the right group, because that might not be the right group for you.
That's right. Yeah. Beautiful.
So
those are wise words.
That was a long time ago. Thank
you. Kathy, before you go real quickly, you made the comment about the cool group. I have to say, full disclosure, I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to people who they feel like they're in this cool elite club, and everybody else has to be on the outside looking in and envying and being jealous, and it used to bother me so much so that I used to have very cynical comments in high school, and I was known for having these cynical kind of critical comments about the cool group. But it was comical because they actually used to think that was funny. And so we had this kind of cool relationship going with me being on the outside of the cool group, kind of laughing a little bit at them. They're laughing back at me, and we got along great. But I have to tell you, that used to bother me. That was the one thing that bothered me, because I saw people try so hard to get into that cool group to the point where they would burn themselves out. And it was terrible. And I always said I would never want to do that. Any quick comments on that?
I just think that when you're in high school, a lot of people, I mean, me at that time, just didn't really know. I mean, I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I wanted to be. And it wasn't until, I will say, like, it wasn't until my junior year that I went on retreat that I really made the decision to have a relationship with Jesus like my own and not whatever my parents told me to have. So I think that made a change in me there, and made me a little bit more comfortable with myself. But I mean, I think now as a, 72-year-old woman, I still struggle with, I don't know what the word is, but I struggle with my own self-esteem.
Like trying to fit in and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do too. As you get older, I think you kind of revert back to some of the things we did at high school, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yes. And then you say, why am I doing that?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
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 I think you're really cool, Kathy. I'd hang out in your club.
Well, thank you very much. I would hang out in yours too.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. See, we got a club of two. I don't know if we're going to take Jerry. He's too cool for us.
Well, I don't know. I don't discriminate. The cooler, the better.
The cooler, the
nice,
better.
yeah.
There you go. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Kathy,
Thanks,
for brightening
Kathy.
our day.
Have a blessed day.
Were you part of that really cool elite group that everybody had to watch?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. Like I said, we'd stand and hold up the wall, outside the office between classes, the seniors.
Oh, please.
And, we got to the back seats in the buses and all of that. But
Did you wear the leather jackets? Like, remember Happy Days with Fonzie?
we wore our Letterman jackets, yeah. And,
You did?
Yeah. But, I think back now, about a lot of the things that I did to probably to try to be, cool and accepted and the in crowd and all of that. I wouldn't do any of that, most of that stuff now, but that's what kids do, you want to be part of the accepted group. You want to be liked, you want to be loved, you want to be respected, you want to be popular,
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about today. Yeah, on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. 833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986. Doris in Omaha, hold on. We got to just get one little quick thing done, and then we're going to get to you listening today on EWTN.com. And we have a couple of phone lines open here. Were you popular in high school? If so, why? Did you try to be? Did you get the date you always wanted for the prom? Were you in sports, activities, clubs, student government? Or maybe none of the above. Share your experience of high school with us. 833-288-3986.
The most original Catholic content is on EWTN Radio.
The most beautiful, the most holy God-man had to suffer the most awesome indignities by the hands of men. Why? Because he loved us. You see, today we don't understand that kind of love. Today, love is supposed to make you happy. Kind of short-lived, though.
Mother Angelica Live Classics. Tonight, 8 Eastern on EWTN Television and Radio.
Father Benedict Rochelle.
Some great people have shown respect for God. Can I read you a little quotation from Albert Einstein, who many times showed a great respect for religion and was one of the great admirers of Pope Pius XII for his stand against the Holocaust during the Second World War. Einstein wrote, "The fairest thing we can experience is the mysterious. It's the fundamental emotion that stands at the cradle of all true art and science. A knowledge of the existence of something we can't penetrate, of the manifestations of the profoundest reason and the most radiant beauty, which are only accessible to our minds in the most elementary form. It is this knowledge and this emotion that constitute the truly religious attitude." Oh my. So beautifully said.
The people you know and trust are on EWTN.
The EWTN Warriors Rosary is a fitting tribute to all the spiritual warriors who have stood by us over the years. Each rosary is a unique creation. Get your Warriors Rosary today at EWTNRC.com.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers. Join me for Beacon of Truth today at 4 p.m. Eastern.
On the next Beacon of Truth, receiving confirmation, what age, and Soulful Psalm 71.
Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
We always say this is your show, Take Two, with Jerry and Debbie and you on EWTN Radio. And you are the ones every day that we are on here live. You really make this program impactful and inspiring. You share your wisdom, your insights, your lived experiences. And today we're talking about, were you popular in high school? Does that define you? Or maybe the opposite is the case. You know, if you'd like to share that experience as well. The number is 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
Can I share something real quickly? I want to do a quick shout out to Paulette. Paulette, if you're in Cleveland, Ohio, listening on The Rock, if you want to call back, we'll inch you up to the front of the line because you were actually going to be first on this discussion about popularity in high school. The other thing I just want to say too, Jerry, I was actually popular with the teachers because, like I said, my 5 brothers and sisters all went through the same high school and they were brilliant. Top students. I mean, brilliant. So when it came time for me, the last one of my family, they expected a lot from me. And I will tell you that I did not feel that popular. I felt the pressure because I had to make sure I got good grades. So that was another whole issue. So I don't know if we could broaden this topic a little bit and talk about how the teachers reacted to you in high school. But let's hear what Doris has to say, who's waiting so patiently, Jerry, in Omaha, Nebraska on EWTN.com. Doris, thanks for joining the program.
Oh, I've joined it before, but I had to call because Jerry thinks he's so smart with a small class of 150.
Yeah. You can outdo me on a smaller school.
You mentioned it 3 times, Jerry.
Yeah. That was the whole high school, Doris. Yeah.
My whole high school was 60.
Oh, well, good for you. You got me beat for a small class.
My graduating class was 17.
Oh, my.
Oh, okay. So Doris, there really isn't the popular and unpopular because it's so small. You all were so well known.
Yeah. Well, we stayed in dormitories.
Oh, wow.
During the week and went home at night. It's out, and I don't know where Bartlett, Nebraska is. It's kind of getting to be a big town now with Herb Binry's collection of sculptures. Mm-hmm. They have a sculpture garden up there now. It's fantastic. People from New York go up to see us, so I'm sure maybe you'll hear about it. You can look it up, I guess. But no, we had a real nice little close knit. We stayed in the dormitories and went to school, and there were about 2 or 3 town kids. The rest of us all came from out in the country.
Wow. Well, I don't understand that, Doris. So wait a minute. Is it like a boarding school where when you said you stayed in dormitories, but then you went home at night or during the weekend?
No, we went home on the weekend.
Oh, so it was like a boarding school. Okay.
Yeah, it was the only high school. Well, actually, it's the only town in Wheeler County, and it was Wheeler County High School, and that was it was high school for the kids in Wheeler County, and that was how many of us were in Wheeler County.
Wow. Okay, so I have to tell you something. I have to jump in on this because that would have been so perfect for me in high school. And I'll tell you why, Doris. Because I used to have to walk home after school a mile, and then my dad would put us in doing yard work after school. So I would have much rather stayed in a dormitory.
I'll bet you had work to do, Doris.
Well, I didn't, but, at home on the weekends, I was alone. It was just my brother and I, and we lived 15, 20 miles from any place. So, it was kind of boring out there on the farm all alone. So it was kind of fun to go to high school and stay in the dorms and interact with all the people and try to get along with everybody. It was fun. We had the county fair was up there, and we had other things. We did have, for a while, we got to walk downtown to the town hall and go to a movie every once in a while. That was a big thrill.
Good.
But
Wonderful.
Otherwise, we just stayed in the dorms. We had study hall in the evening. And I got in trouble, had to stay after study hall with 3 of the boys. But I guess I was kind of bad that night. I don't know. I don't remember what we did, but I know all 4 of us had to stay after study hall.
Well, we all got in trouble at times in high school, I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Doris, I think you got quite a spirit. I love it. I think you must have been very popular. Do you still, are you in communication with anybody still?
There are 5 of us left. They're all I'll be 94 next month, and the rest of them are just a wee bit older than I am. But there are still 5 of us left, and they're all still out in the Sandhills, and I'm here in Omaha. So I don't get to see them, but I call. We talk on the phone.
Oh, how wonderful!
Like a family.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
They are. I mean, that's what we were, is a big family there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was fun. I got a lot of stories about the dorm, but you don't have time. It was fun.
Well, thank you, Doris. You have really made this show special today, as all of the callers do every day. Thank you, Doris. You said you've called before. Will you keep listening and call us again?
Oh, I listen every day.
Thank you, Doris. We know that. I have you in the book. And yes, we love you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Doris. God bless. 833-288-EWTN. It's that easy. Were you popular in high school? It's what we're talking about today. Or if you'd like to share any of your memories of high school, how you interacted and had relationships with the teachers, good or bad, fellow students, were you popular, unpopular, favorite memories of high school? 833-288-3986. Right before we go back to the phones, Debbie, I wanted to mention that Doris was from Omaha, of course. And for those who were kind of curious, because my first year at Pope St. John the 23rd National Seminary is winding down, when I became a seminarian for the Diocese of Orlando, the diocese had me spend a year in a parish getting acquainted with the diocese and them getting to know me and all of that. And then they have sent me up here to Weston, which is just outside of Boston, Massachusetts. And Saturday is my last final exam. So year 1 of seminary is up on this Saturday.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, it went by so fast, even including the 30 days in the hospital. It just seems like it's a blur. And speaking of Omaha, the reason I brought it up is because I will be in Omaha for the first half of the summer at the Institute for Priestly Formation. It's on the campus of Creighton University. It is a spirituality program designed to help us just deepen our prayer lives and our spiritual lives. There's an 8-day silent Ignatian retreat. It's about a 6-week program. And then the second half of summer, I'll be in a parish somewhere in the Orlando area. And then, good Lord willing, back up here to the seminary for year number 2. It's a 4-year program for me, so don't stop the prayers, folks. But I'm looking forward to being in Omaha. I've been there many times. A great, great city.
Wow, that is amazing, Jerry. Okay, so you're back in school. So are you popular in seminary?
And everybody's popular here because, I mean, in a manner of speaking, I mean, I don't know if that's the word I would use, but, everybody is respected and revered and admired by each other because, obviously we're all a little bit older, as people know. Pope St. John the 23rd National Seminary was founded in 1964 by Richard Cardinal Cushing, the Archbishop of Boston, specifically for older vocations. So we've all got careers in the rearview mirrors. Some have families, kids, grandkids. We've all sort of been there, done that, and we know we have a lot less life ahead of us than we do behind us. So, we're all just really looking out for one another. Yeah, I would say everybody is kind of, in a sense, popular here because, we have really a shared purpose and a goal.
Right. And you're more mature. I mean, than if you were like younger seminarians.
Yeah, I would say, maybe a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah. So how many are in your class? Or how many are in the seminary?
There are about 40 overall in the seminary, so
that's
averages.
big.
It averages about 10 per class. My class has 7. The fourth-year guys this year who are going to be ordained priests in the next month or two, I think they have 12 or 14. So, but for any gentleman who is listening right now, you might be in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. You might be thinking, boy, I wish I had answered the call to the priesthood way back then. I know it's not a possibility for me now. Not so fast, okay? Because this seminary exists to form older men to be parish priests. And if God has put that on your heart, look us up at psjs.edu, Pope St. John Seminary. It's psjs.edu. The phone number is on there. You can call and talk to Maureen, and then maybe you'll probably talk to Monsignor Fay, and I'm involved on the vocation committee as well. And we have First Friday Zoom meetings, and God is really moving, Debbie, in the hearts of a lot of men who might think it's past the time for them to possibly become a priest.
Wow. That sounds wonderful. You've got a lot of Take Two family members praying, so that's beautiful. Okay, so our last caller, Doris, was from Nebraska, and so we visited Nebraska virtually. Now we're going back to Ohio, and Linda in Mansfield, Ohio on Annunciation Radio is waiting so patiently. Hi, Linda. You're going to answer the question next. Were you popular in high school?
I don't think so. But I don't think that I was left out either. I guess I never thought about whether I was popular or not popular.
Mm-hmm.
I went to the largest Catholic girls' high school in the Cleveland area at the time, and a whole bunch of us that had been in grade school together went to the same high school, and so that was a real advantage to have your friends from grade school being in the same place. So it wasn't hard, at least I didn't find it hard, to make new friends and try to and still have the old friends in your life. We didn't get to choose our classes or what we were doing. The nuns all took care of that. So there was a group of us that were almost in every class together. And so the new people, the people from other grade schools that were in our classes, they also became part of our group of friends. Our the group that has hung together the most are 8 of us, and half of us are from our grade school, and the other half were the people that we met when we got to high school. But then there is this larger group when sometimes in the past, more than recently, it's getting harder to get people together. We could have like 12 or 15 people all meet at a restaurant because we had been in the same classes together for nearly 4 years, most of us. So it was easy to have good friends that you would still be in touch with, even if you didn't see them for a year, you know? Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of activities to be a part of in high school. And it's interesting when you go to, your 10-year, your 25th year and such. And there was one gal who was in our class who was not in our grade school. She was absolutely like something none of us had ever seen. She was so mature and so smart, so quiet, we all thought she was like in her 20s or something, the way she behaved. And she ended up in an activity that I was in. We worked on the newspaper together, and there was only a group of 4 or 5 of us who were working on it for the last 2 hours, junior, senior year. Are you still there?
We are, yeah.
Oh, okay. And it was funny, the first major reunion we had, she didn't even remember me at all.
Oh,
she
no.
said, "And who are you?"
Oh, no.
It was so to her mind really was in a different place in high school. It just told me I was right all along. She was just so above all of us. She didn't even pay attention because, working on the newspaper with her, I was the photographer. She was in charge, and we worked shoulder to shoulder, and she didn't even remember me. I just thought that was the hoot. I wasn't offended at all because it measured up to what I had thought about how brilliant she was, that she was above all of us. We were silly. She was very mature, and she never got silly. So that's my story.
I'm just curious. What did she turn out to do? What do you know?
Counselor.
Oh, she was a counselor. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, yes. And it fit her personality, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah,
Very
that was
cool.
interesting.
Yeah. What do you
And
say,
I guess
Jer?
when our group of 8 get together, it comes up fairly regularly that we say, aren't we lucky to have each other, even still? Even if we don't see the ones who live out of state very often, we're in touch through, texting and that kind of thing. And we support each other. Those of us who are still in the Cleveland area, Mansfield isn't very far from Cleveland, we're just so happy that our parents didn't pick up and move, from here to there to there to there, because we've been able to have these close relationships because our parents were so just attached to where we were.
Yeah, that's sweet.
It's beautiful. Yeah. No, you're very blessed, Linda. It sounds like. So many people just move around, like you said, or in various other ways get disconnected from their high school friends, even from family at times. And it's good that we have these long-standing friendships and relationships. It just says so much about, I think, the people like you, Linda, and those that you're still close to. And of course, social media, especially like Facebook, things like that have really, revolutionized the way we search out those people that we knew, like from high school or previous jobs or whatever, and can rekindle those relationships very, very quickly and easily, I think. So, Linda, great to have you on the show. Wonderful contribution.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Have a beautiful day. And we're going to stay in Northwest. We're going to stay in Ohio, Northwest Ohio, in Annunciation Radio. Another Linda. Second Linda, welcome to the program.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Go right ahead. Ohio's coming in strong today.
I wish people would be saying the year they graduated, because you guys did. You babies, you. I graduated in 1968.
Wow.
Oh, God bless you.
And I went to 3 different grade schools. A quick little background to my popularity. I have friends from all those schools. But the one friend that I have from kindergarten, we reconnected by working together at the same place. 25 years ago, we found each other again.
Wow.
Oh,
and
that's
she was
amazing.
my best friend in kindergarten and first and second grade. And then moving to another school after my mother died, I went with my grandmother, and I went to school with my cousins and the neighbors, and of course I kept all those. I get together with them still. And then I moved to my high school town in the 7th grade, and I had a very small Catholic school there and graduated 13 in our class. And when I went to high school with over 175 in my class, I was very overwhelmed, so I wasn't popular. I was shy. I kept the friends I had. I made some new ones. I loved high school. I went to all the reunions. And we are having our 75th birthday party reunion this fall. I have been planning everything for the last, I have a good team that I roped into this. But I'm very popular now.
I bet.
Very popular now.
Yeah, because you're on the planning committee. Yeah, definitely.
Right, and I make it, everybody, I remember that people were kind of bored at the reunions, especially our 45th reunion, and I thought, well, then let's do it. Let's do it. I go, let's do it. We did. We did the 50th reunion, and it was a blast. But I'll tell you why it was a blast. We started incorporating everybody into our little group and got together every month. Every month we had little reunions at our favorite little restaurant when we were we went to in high school. And I went to every single one of them. So within 5 years, with our next week, I knew everybody. I knew so many people, it wasn't funny. So, and we are still doing that for 12 years now. We have had monthly reunions during during the spring, summer, and fall. We don't do it during the winter. Of course, we're all getting older now, and we don't drive like I probably drive too much, but that's okay. And it was so funny that you had a Linda before me, because I don't go anywhere without having 3 or 4 Lindas. I still have
a popular name.
Yeah, 2 good friends that are Lindas. Of course, in high school there was a Linda in every class. So my name was right out there. But yeah, I really wasn't that popular. I was very busy into babysitting and loved babies and making money. And really didn't notice. I really didn't notice that I wasn't popular. I had enough friends.
Yeah,
I didn't have a lot of friends. I had enough friends, and I really didn't date until my senior year, and then I really didn't. I would rather babysit.
Well, you were talking about us being babies, okay? Because my graduation was 84. Jerry's is 79. Our producer just weighed in for you, Linda. He's the class of 1995. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah. Well, he could be my child then.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah, it gets harder and harder to realize how old you are, and oh my gosh, okay. And after our 55th reunion, I just told everybody, I said, we're going to start doing one every year. We're losing people.
Yeah. Stay in touch.
Yeah. So we're going to start doing whoever can come together every September. We're going to have a certain place, and we're going to announce it, and plan around it. Be there or be square.
Well, with you leading it, Linda, you got a great personality. I think you're going to have a lot of fun getting together. Thank you so much for weighing in on this. We really, really appreciate it. And Jerry, I know we want to squeeze Jennifer in from San Antonio, but you've got something to share with our Take Two family.
Yeah, I do real quick. Jennifer, hold on just a moment. Just want to remind folks, do not miss the Interregnum special. Interregnum means kind of between the reign of the 2 popes. It's an Interregnum special live from Rome today, coming up at the end of this broadcast, the top of the hour, 1 Eastern time, with an encore this evening at 8 p.m. Eastern, all only on EWTN radio and television, where you will get your coverage of the conclave and the election of our new Holy Father, God willing, and it will be certainly inspired and led by the Holy Spirit. So let's all be in prayer for that.
Okay, we're going to get to Jennifer in San Antonio, Texas on Guadalupe Radio Network. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome.
Hi. I'll be really brief. When I was in school, from elementary all the way through high school, there was a particular guy who would make fun of me and tease me growing up. And then all of a sudden, when we become adults and I become a teacher, I ended up having his kids in my class. And I know this because the mom would always come and pick up these kids, and then all of a sudden the dad would come and pick them up, and then we recognized each other instantly. And then he looked at me and I looked at him, and then he forgave me for teasing him, and then I forgave him, and it was just amazing. And now we're getting ready to have our 30-year anniversary for graduation, and be interesting to see if he shows up.
Yeah.
So that just goes to show.
Right. So Jennifer, he did apologize then. He apologized?
Yes. And that's why I tell my son, don't ever bully anybody, because you never know it's going to come full circle later on.
He wanted to make sure you didn't fail his kids in class, so he
Yeah, right.
Probably.
Yeah.
So I say that to everybody that's listening. Don't ever tease, because you never know what's going to happen later on.
That's true. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Right.
Jennifer, you are so awesome. And tell Matthew we said hello, okay?
Okay, I will. So I love you all, and I will let him know.
Okay,
God
we
bless,
love
Jennifer.
you too.
Thank you. We've got about a minute left. Bonnie, driving through Colorado. I think we can get you in about 60 seconds if you can be brief, Bonnie, but we wanted to get you in since you called in. Welcome.
Okay.
Yep. Go right ahead. Got about a minute, Bonnie.
Okay. Hello?
Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah.
This is
welcome.
Bonnie.
Hi, Bonnie. Got about 30 seconds
hi.
now.
Okay. I didn't consider myself popular, but I feel like I was a socialite.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in all the clubs like band and other activities. I did have an experience that I applied for Girl State, and I was selected, and everyone was shocked when I was selected because I wasn't popular.
Well, we're happy that you called in and were able to share that with us, Bonnie. And I'm so sorry to cut you short on this. You are driving through Colorado, so please be careful. Be behind the wheel there. You go with our prayers, and we'll put you in the prayer book for safe travels. Thanks, Bonnie, for weighing in on this topic today. Great conversation, Debbie. Wow.
It was really cool. I could relate to Bonnie being in many clubs. I think that's really cool. We're going to have to revisit this topic again, Jerry.
Yeah, I think so. We will do that. Another great show by you, the Take Two family, and of course the show team has been with us here on the broadcast today, Matt, Michael, and Rich. And coming up on tomorrow's topic, we have letting go of things we once loved to do. Oh. Wow, we have to give things up at some point in life due to a lot of different reasons. That's tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day. We'll see you soon.
Want some more peace in your life? Need some more grace in your day? Want to wake up each morning excited about life again? Life Coaching is there for you. We have a team of dedicated coaches willing to assist you in creating a plan for a better future with God as the focus. Jesus said,